Hi everyone, welcome to Blue Heron Hill, and I am Sue, and it's time to garden. Although, if you look at this picture, you'll realize it's not quite ready to garden outside yet, but there's plenty of stuff that we can do inside in preparation for actual digging in the dirt. Now, recently the USDA has put out a new hardiness zone map. Now, if you've checked it out, maybe your zone has changed a little bit. Mine hasn't changed too much where I'm located. I'm located right on Lake Ontario, and that big body of water kind of keeps our temperatures moderate. I am in zone 6A, and I kind of border right on 6B. 6B being actually a warmer zone. What the hardiness zone represents is really just the minimum extreme lowest temperature in the winter. So that just kind of tells you that myself, I'm not gardening in -5 to -10 degrees, but I know that, and who doesn't know that? So this map really doesn't impact gardeners all that much. But what does impact us is the charts on average last frost date in the spring and first frost date in the fall. And that changes periodically. You find that in the Farmer's Almanac, which records these historic averages over a period of time, and they update it frequently. Don't know if it's been updated. I think it might have been updated a little while ago. My last average frost date in the spring is April 28th, and my first frost date, actually they call it a light frost date, in the fall is October 21st. Now that gives me 175 days, I think it is, of growing season. Now this is a way more important thing to look at for gardeners than the USDA hardiness zone. And I'll put a link to both of these in the description below. But what the last frost, let me say it, the last frost date, first frost date charts, that's important because it gives us the length of time for which we can garden in a season. So that will impact what plants you grow in your garden and when you can start your plants, if you start them by seed or you start them by inside or start them by seed outside in the garden or transplants. That's an important thing to look at. But you must realize too, it's an average. So there are going to be times when, mine being April 28th, I may get a frost into May. It's happened before. So I kind of like to err on the safe side a lot of times. And especially in the fall, I don't want to be picking some plants to grow where they may be impacted by frost, like at the beginning of October. And where I'll say, oh dear, I've had 3 weeks to go, yet my tomatoes are dead because they got a frost. So I like to err on the side of caution. And if I decide to push the envelope and start things earlier, or push the end of the season later, then if it's a gardener, I better be prepared to protect my tender plants from frost with, row covers or, hooped tunnels or something like that. But if you're prepared to do that, that's fine. And so gardening is not a contest. It's not a race. And unless you're growing a pumpkin, 500-pound pumpkin for the state fair contest or something like that, I don't think as a gardener we really need to push the envelope that far. Now we're armed and ready. We've got a good amount of information, and we're going to start gardening. Well, not quite. We're still pretty cold outside, and the soil is really not ready for plants to go in. But I like to start with planting seeds. Even if you are a beginner gardener, as well as a seasoned gardener, this is the time for thinking about starting your seeds indoors. If you're a beginner, go for it. At least try a few. And maybe in the coming years you add more and more to your repertoire if that's what you want to do. If not, go to your local nurseries, your big box stores, wherever, and get seedlings when the time is right to put them in your garden. But what I do first is, first of all, I have to start and organize and get all of my seed starting apparatus and products all ready to go. So I do have grow lights downstairs. I have tried, for beginner gardeners, there are plenty of people that say, oh, start it on your windowsill. Yeah, I did that for a lot of my plants very early on. Not everybody has a windowsill that gets, 6 hours of sun every day. So a simple shop light with some LED lights downstairs or someplace in a corner of your home is totally adequate. And then you need containers with which to grow your seedlings in. Anything will do. Some people use solo cups. I like to kind of try and stay away from the whole plastic thing. So I try to avoid as much plastic as I can, but if not, I reuse. Solo cups, yogurt cups, toilet paper rolls, newspaper that there's ways of folding it all up to make these little cells and stuff like that. I've done everything. So, and it works, and it's well worth it to try some of those methods out. But I have plenty of containers from, years and years and years. And if you take good care of them and you treat them gently and kindly, they're well worth using year after year after year. So, but this is a good time to wash those out. Give them a good rinse, soak and rinse in hot sudsy water. Scrub them out, make sure they have no remaining soil from last year, and especially if you were plagued by any kind of disease or anything like that, you want to get them clean as a whistle so you won't have any problems with that. If I have had problems, I will soak them in a solution of vinegar, or even I may even soak them in a bleach solution, like about 1/8 of a cup to at least a gallon of water. Soak them up, let them dry, rinse them off again, and you should be pretty well good to go. So you've got your vessels of which to grow your plants in. You'll also need to get some plant medium to start. I always start with a seed mix. This has very few nutrients in it because all the nutrients a seed needs is right within that little seed coat. And it doesn't need anything else except some water and some moisture and some heat. And it should be good to go until it sends out its roots and sends up its first couple of leaves. So seed starting mix first to use with your seeds. But let's back up, you need seeds too. So this is where all those seed catalogs that you've been getting in the mail for the past month or so, I think I may have at least 12. They keep sending me more and more and more. I don't know why. They've got my number. So anyways, I have ordered seeds, haven't come in yet, and so I'm still waiting on all of my seeds. So you got to back up even further. I'm kind of getting out of order here. You have to plan your garden, and this is where I have a gardening journal, and I also have a garden plan. And I'm going to go over these in the coming video on how they help me out in my garden planning for this year, 2024. But in the meantime, there is plenty to do, like, cleaning your pots, getting together all of your equipment, your seed starting mix. If you want to make your own seed starting mix, so easy. Equal parts of peat moss or cocoa coir is another product, with a part of perlite or vermiculite, and then some sifted compost or something, which adds just a tiny bit of nutrition to the soil. That's all you need for that. You'll need the potting soil on down the line when you transfer your little starts. So go ahead, look at those, peruse those seed catalogs, drool over some of those different selections, and then I'll meet you back here for another round of garden planning. So until the next time that we can go almost digging in the dirt, bye.